Hello, this is Ryan Reisert, your host. This is going to be a very different podcast series than anything you've experienced on the market. What I'm trying to do is change things up a little bit. Rather than having a special guest and one topic with great conversation that goes away, we're going to host a series of experts and others who have perspective on different topics over a period of time. Gather that in a series of episodes and roll that out until we've really exhausted a topic. So hopefully you enjoy this podcast, and thanks again for listening in. So really excited for this next guest on this topic. I'd like to introduce Noah Goldman. So we talk about the coaching culture and revenue intelligence.
Hello.
Noah, want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi. What's up? I'm Noah, coach and consultant to salespeople, entrepreneurs, and just general guy who likes to talk about shit. Stuff. I'm sorry. Is this? Are the children listening? Are the
Hopefully
children,
not.
Hopefully not. Seriously.
Hopefully not. But that's okay. Maybe as the new work from home movement gets more children involved. But I have your
headphones, parents, headphones.
I have your title in here as the man, the myth, the legend, because Noah, out of everyone else, Noah used to actually run enterprise sales podcasts, used to be really active, and then he just went away. So for those who don't know Noah, he's actually a huge leader in the space, but he went under a rock or something. So I'm excited to bring him back out for a little bit here. And
crawled out. Yeah, you can't see this, but I haven't shaved in a while, so clearly that rock, not good. Yeah.
So I'm really excited about this topic specifically because, actually I've used you as a coach in the past, and we continue to engage. And so really learn a lot from you. So let's get into it though, because I think you have a great perspective on this topic. And as we've had a few guests through so far, you're going to bring a different take on this. So, the first question, of course, is: do you believe in this rise of revenue intelligence, this coaching movement? What do you think of when you hear that? And do you believe in it?
Okay. So here's the way I see this. All right. So first of all, my understanding, this is a term that was just brought to my attention recently, this idea of revenue intelligence, right? Which, as I understand it, is basically a way that people are categorizing a lot of these tech platforms that VCs are pouring a whole ton of info into, or money into, so they can help not automate, but provide more insight and visibility into the sales process. So it's recording software, it's analytics, it's revenue automation, it's email automation in certain ways with the analytics back end. I mean, first of all, have I categorized this the right way? Is this how they've bucketed these sort of tools?
Well, I mean, I think that's the whole point of this, right? Because you get a bunch of these buzzwords out there in the market, and people kind of start asking questions like, "What the heck does that mean?" Some get it because they attach to a system like, in the pre-show we were talking about Gong, and Gong really coined the revenue intelligence. It used to be conversational intelligence, but others are coming behind it, right? So I had a guest, one of our first guests on the show was Alex from Clary, and they now are under that bucket of revenue intelligence, which makes sense to the way you're defining it. That's exactly right. So, so then the follow on then is, okay, we've defined it. What do you think about the movement? How do you believe in this movement?
So first of all, I try not to go behind movements in general because it doesn't allow me to be a free thinker. But what else? So let me explain. No, seriously, right? Like people, like it's so funny. Like I do this whole thing. Like I don't vote, for instance, right? Like I haven't voted in a long time. Now, why does that matter to this? It matters to this because I'll say something and people are like, you're a Trump sympathizer, you're a Trump antagonist, you're a this, you're a that. I'm like, I'm none of those things, because if I'm any of those things, then I am not allowed to be a free thinker when any of those things change, right? So if I see something I agree with, I'll say I agree with this, but I don't agree with the person or the thing or the movement or whatever. So I don't like to get behind movements. That's the reason I mentioned that, right? I wasn't trying to go off on a tangent. But So the reason I asked to define what revenue intelligence means is this. Words are important. We are nothing without words. Language defines us, okay? So we need to say, what are these sort of things, right? So like Gong, you mentioned as an example, it sounds like I'm a user of Gong. I love Gong. I think it's a fantastic platform. Here's the thing we need to ask, right? When we talk about, these tools that we're layering on top of our sales process, right? I think recording software, I think at this point is table stakes because of what it allows, especially in this world, we're all locked indoors. We're recording this during the COVID-19 quarantine, right? everyone's remote now. You know, I used to have I had sort of an ongoing beef with a sales leader who was like, oh, working remote is, not everyone can do it. I'm like, well, now everyone has to do it, so you better be good at it.
Yeah.
And tools like that allow you to work asynchronously across teams, right? So someone can, as one manager, if you make sure everyone is recording their coaching calls, that person can then listen to those asynchronously or not at the same time, right? So that's important in and of itself. That's the question of what are these tools supposed to use? Now, here's the thing that I feel like in general, right? Which is why I sort of pull back on this revenue intelligence word.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's the thing. The world's greatest supercomputer that's ever been created is between your ears. It's called the human mind. Okay. There is no software which will ever, or tool or computer or anything which will ever be better than, not ever, but we'll get to that in a second, but is better than that now, because they're all been created by humans, right? Now, there's this thing that has been imagined called the singularity, this moment where computers become more intelligent than people, but even the most forward-thinking people, in the tech futurist space, don't think that's going to happen for a quarter century now, right? So, and I think that's probably about right. If this thing exists, it's not happening tomorrow, okay? So I'm saying, don't look for your computer programs and your software platforms and your SaaS, this or that, to be smarter than you, because they can't be. Literally, they cannot be. What they can do is, they can't be smarter than you, but they can do the really stupid work a lot faster than you. So, for instance, they can transcribe something in a second that if you had to do by hand would take hours, right? So that's stupid work done really fucking fast. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what you want to use these tools for. Now, why do I, again, pull back at this, revenue intelligence? Our biggest problem right now is stupid salespeople. Okay. Salespeople have two purposes really in the process that validate their need to be in the process at all. Okay. And that's two things: selection and